In the scorching heat of April 1942, mid the rugged mountains of Persia now Irana, ragged column of Polish soldiers trudged along a dusty road. These were men of the 2nd Polish Corps, freshly released from the brutal Soviet gulags after Hitler's invasion of Russia turned unlikely enemies into reluctant allies. Starvation, disease, and endless marches had hardened them, but hope flickered as they headed toward British lines in the Middle East. Among them was Lieutenant Anatol Ternavitsky and his comrades from the 22nd Artillery Supply Company, their uniforms threadbare, their spirits unbroken. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the barren landscape, they spotted a young Iranian shepherd boy, struggling with a burlap sack that wriggled and whimpered. Curiosity drew them closer. The boy, no more than 10, explained in broken Persian that inside was an orphaned Syrian brown bear cub, its mother shot by hunters. The soldiers, many of whom had lost families to the war's cruelties, felt a pang of sympathy. Peter Prendes, a young private, knelt down and peered inside. The cub's eyes, wide and innocent, stared back a tiny ball of fur, barely weaned, mewling for milk. They bartered a few tins of corned beef, a Swiss Army knife, some chocolate from their meager rations. The boy nodded eagerly, and just like that, the cub was theirs. They named him Wojtek, a diminutive of Wojtek, meaning joyful warrior in Polish. Little did they know, this fluffy bundle would become more than a mascot. He'd etch himself into the annals of military history. Back at camp that night, under a canopy of stars, the soldiers fashioned a makeshift bottle from an empty vodka flask, filling it with condensed milk diluted with water. Wojtek suckled greedily, his tiny paws clutching the bottle as if it were his lifeline. Laughter echoed around the fire for the first time in months. "Look at him go," chuckled Corporal Stanislaw Krochak, wiping sweat from his brow. "He's got the appetite of a whole platoon." The cub's presence was a bomb. A reminder of life beyond the trenches and barbed wire. As weeks turned to months, Wojtek grew rapidly, his frame filling out under the soldiers' care. They taught him to march on his hind legs, mimicking their drills with uncanny precision. He'd salute officers with a paw raised high, drawing roars of approval. Playtime involved wrestling matches, Wojtek's gentle swats sending grown men tumbling into the sand, always careful not to hurt them. He developed a taste for the soldiers' vices. Beer swigged straight from the bottle, cigarettes chewed like treats though he never inhaled, much to their amusement. "He's one of us," Ternavitsky would say, ruffling Wojtek's fur, a Pole through and through. The Corps moved on, from Persia through Iraq and Syria, then to Palestine, where they trained under British command. Wojtek traveled in the cab of their supply trucks, head out the window, wind ruffling his ears. He became a symbol of resilience for the Poles, exiled from their homeland after the dual invasions by Germany and the Soviet Union in 1939. Many had endured Siberian labor camps. Wojtek's adoption mirrored their own journey from despair to defiance. By 1943, as the Allies prepared for the Italian campaign, the 2nd Polish Corps received orders to ship out from Egypt to Italy. But a problem arose. British transport regulations strictly forbade pets or mascots aboard military vessels. The soldiers panicked. Leaving Wojtek behind was unthinkable. His family protested. Private Augustin Korolewski. In a stroke of bureaucratic brilliance, they enlisted him officially as Private Wojtek, complete with a serial number, paybook, and rations card. Now a bona fide soldier, he could board the ship. Aboard the troop carrier, Wojtek lumbered through the decks, charming British sailors who had never seen a bear in uniform. He slept in a custom crate, but often escaped to join card games or share meals. One stormy night, as waves crashed against the hull, Wojtek comforted a seasick soldier by curling up beside him, his warm bulk a steady anchor in the chaos. Italy welcomed them with the thunder of war. The Poles joined the Allied push against entrenched German forces, culminating in the grueling Battle of Monte Cassino in early 1944. This ancient abbey atop a mountain had been reduced to rubble by relentless bombing, yet German paratroopers held the line, turning the surrounding valleys into killing fields. The 22nd Artillery Supply Company was tasked with ferrying ammunition to the front, heavy 100-pound crates of shells that took 2 men to lift. Amid the cacophony of explosions and gunfire, Wojtek proved his mettle, awaiting his comrades' strain under the crates. The now massive bear, over 6 feet tall and 500 pounds, stood on his hind legs, grabbed a crate in his powerful paws, and carried it effortlessly to the artillery positions. Shells whistled overhead, dirt erupted from impacts, but Wojtek didn't flinch. He repeated the feat again and again, stacking crates with precision, his grunts echoing like encouragement. Witnesses were stunned. "It's like he's been training for this," whispered a British observer to Chernovitsky. One particularly fierce day, under heavy mortar fire, Wojtek hauled crates through a hail of shrapnel, saving precious time and lives. His actions boosted morale. Soldiers cheered as he lumbered past, a living emblem of unyielding spirit. For his bravery, Wojtek was promoted to corporal, his rank sewn onto a makeshift uniform patch. The battle raged for months. With 4 assaults before the Allies finally broke through in May 1944, Monte Cassino cost over 55,000 casualties. But Wojtek emerged unscathed, his fur singed but his resolve intact. The Poles adopted a new insignia, a bear carrying an artillery shell, immortalizing their furry hero. As the war pushed northward through Italy, Wojtek continued his duties from Ancona to Bologna. He developed quirks that endeared him further, catching fish in streams to share with the mess, or showering under truck hoses on hot days. Once, he cornered an Italian spy in a supply tent, roaring until guards arrived. Stories of the soldier bear spread through Allied ranks, even reaching General Anders, commander of the Polish forces. Victory in Europe came in May 1945, but for the Poles, it was bittersweet. Their country fell under Soviet influence, barring many from returning home. The Second Corps was demobilized in Scotland, at Winfield Camp, near Barracope-in-Tweed. Wojtek adapted to the misty highlands, roaming the grounds and entertaining locals. Children from nearby villages snuck apples to him, wide-eyed at the gentle giant who had fought Nazis. In 1947, with the Corps disbanded, Wojtek faced retirement. Edinburgh Zoo offered him a home, and on a crisp November day, his comrades bid a tearful farewell. As the truck pulled away, Wojtek stood on his hind legs, paw raised in salute. "WWII, old friend," murmured Chernovitsky, voice thick with emotion. At the zoo, Wojtek lived in a spacious enclosure, but he never forgot his roots. Polish veterans visited often, calling his name in their native tongue. He'd perk up at the sound, ambling over 4 cigarettes tossed over the fence, a habit the zookeepers tolerated. He passed away in December 1963 at age 21, his death mourned across Poland and Britain. Obituaries hailed him as a symbol of hope amid horror. Today, Wojtek's legacy endures. Statues stand in Edinburgh's Prince's Street Gardens, Krakow's Jordan Park, and Monte Cassino. Books, films, and even a BBC documentary recount his tale. In 2011, a plaque was unveiled at the Imperial War Museum in London. For the Poles, he represents the indomitable spirit of a nation twice betrayed yet unbroken. Wojtek wasn't just a bear, he was a comrade, a hero, a joyful warrior who turned the grim theater of war into a story of improbable friendship. In the end, amid the ruins of Europe, he reminded us that even in darkness, bonds can form that defy the odds, paws and hands united against tyranny.